everybody, it's Pat Huntoon here from Technique Junkies, and today I'm going to be doing a quick little card using a stencil and some distress ink with just some regular paper and some coloration spray to show you what you can do with just three really simple products that is a new way to, or a different way to use your stencils, and it has pretty shine to it. So first of all, I'm just going to take 3 colors of distress ink. I'm going to start with Mowed Lawn, and I'm going to take the Mowed Lawn and I'm going to do it direct to paper. So I'm going right over the bottom third of this paper, and I'm just going to put it in thirds. You can use any 3 colors that you want, whatever matches whatever project you're going to do. The second third, I'm going to be putting tumbled glass, and I love this blue color. I just think it's so pretty. It's a nice transition color between the darker blue, the blueprint sketch, which is almost a purple, and the green that I'm using, and I'm just rubbing it all over. I really don't want any holes in it, if you know what I mean, so I don't want any ink holes. I'm just going to make sure it's nice and covered. And then the third color I'm going to use is the blueprint sketch. This blueprint sketch, try to say that 5 times, is so deep blue. I think it's such a pretty blue. It's a royal blue. So I'm just going to put that at the top. And I'm not really worried about how those are blending together, because by the time I get this all together, it's going to be fine. I'm going to put a little more blue over the top of that. Don't tell anybody I put the lighter over the darker. That's a no-no. You really shouldn't do that. But I'm going to put that there, and then I'm going to take a paper towel to protect my work surface. I'm going to put it down and put my stencil over the top of it. This stencil is called Sprinkles Flow. It is a stencil from A Colorful Life Designs, and I really like the movement of this, so I wanted to make a C card using the 3 colors I picked and the Sprinkles Flow. So I'm just going to very quickly take this painter's tape, which I got from the dollar store. It works just as well as the painter's tape, the expensive painter's tape that I got from Home Depot. So get your painter's tape from the dollar store. You don't mind wasting it as much either. And I'm really going to tape this down pretty well. The reason I'm taping it down well is to allow the stencil to sit flat on top of the paper. And so when I spray this, we'll get crisper images from that. So now we're ready to spray, and I'm using Art Anthologies Sterling. The color is here, and it doesn't look like much on the label, but it's really a beautiful, if I spray it on the work surface, you'll see it. It's really a beautiful shimmering color there, or shimmering lack of color. It's called a fairy dust. So by putting the fairy dust over the top of this, what will happen is it's going to sit through the holes in the stencil, and it's going to give us a beautiful shimmering effect. So this is the only one of the fairy dust, or the only one of the coloration sprays in the Art Anthology line that you have to shake. And you have to shake it because it's got mica in it, and mica is heavy. It goes to the bottom. And if you've ever been to a trade show with me, you know that I have you spray really close to the table, but I'm not worried about that here. I'm going to spray this all over like normal. Just spray. Get a good amount of spray on there. And then, because I have so much on there and I hate to waste anything, I'm going to take another piece of paper. I'm going to take this blue, and I'm just going to dab off the excess off the stencil. Now this won't make this blue have too much color, but it will have some. As you can see there, you can see the shimmer in there. That's kind of cool looking. So we'll use that for a whole nother project. So I think I have enough shimmer down though. I think I have enough to make the card really sing. So you just pull this off, pull off the stencil with the paper, and you can really see the shimmer in that Sprinkles Flow showing through there. Can you see that? It's really quite pretty. So I'm going to finish this off as a turtle card, but I wanted to show you another one that I did just a couple minutes ago. And with this other one that I made, I used spiced marmalade, mustard seed, and my favorite color, picked raspberries. And that's how this one turned out with the flowing drop stencil. This is the flowing drop stencil. And that's how it turned out with the flowing drop stencil. I'll be right back and we'll finish these cards right up. Okay, so I want to create a focal image for this piece, which is sitting on the side and drying right now. And as you can see, as it dries, it even shows the shimmer in this even more. So I want to watercolor the mermaid on a rock. So this is my mermaid on a rock. And when I stamped her the first time, I stamped her a little bit at a tilt, but I used that as an opportunity to figure out what colors I actually wanted to paint her. So all I'm using is a simple water brush and my mat. I'm going to use that as my work surface to put the colors on, and some more distressing colors here. Now I'm going to start with Wild Honey. I'm just going to take a little of that and I'm going to put that in her hair. I'm going to paint her hair just with a water brush, and this is just plain old paper. You can, of course, use watercolor paper. You're going to get a more watercolory look if you use watercolor paper, but I am just going to do a real quick, fast and easy, and not too much water. That's the trick to using just regular paper, not too much water. I'm going to take the brushed corduroy next, and I'm going to just put a little of that on there, and you notice that I wiped off the original color, the first color, right away with a paper towel. I'm just going to pick some of that up with my brush. And it's a brownish color when you put it on this way. I'm just going to put it in the everywhere where my stamp has black here on the rock. That tells me that really needs to be a little bit darker of a color. And as this color lightens up, I'm just adding a little bit more to my water brush. I'm just going to continue to paint that until all of the brown is added in here. Okay, so that's all painted, and then I'm going to wipe that up, and I'm going to move on to the pumice stone. And this is more of a grayer color, and that's how I got the different gray color here on the rock. And again, I'm not using very much water with this. I'm actually just really dry brushing this to a certain extent. I'm just going to go over that next to it. Now those colors would blend better if I had watercolor paper, but I think they're blending just fine for what we need here. You don't want to work this too much. If you're working just regular paper with water, you don't want to go over it more than once or twice. Otherwise it will start to pill. Pilling is not good. So you don't want your paper to ball up on you. So I'm just going to do that. You can kind of see how it blended in there. And then I'm going to finish this up with just two more colors. We're going to use the mustard seed. And it's very, very hard to see on this work surface, which I should mention. All of my work surfaces at shows and everything else, these black surfaces, I get these at a store called the Christmas Tree Shop. It's kind of like an upscale junk store. And what the Christmas Tree Shop has is kitchen stuff. This is actually a nonstick oven mat, and you want to use Teflon, not silicone. Silicone will it's harder to clean if you're using other materials like paints, where this Teflon is very, very durable. You can heat on it and do everything on it. So that's my tip for you. This probably cost me $4.99 for a 2x3 mat, which is really great when you compare it to a craft sheet. Okay, this final color that we used is Mowed Lawn, and I'm going to just put that, the darker part of this color, on the top of this mermaid tail here and here, any place where it would flip over and you'd get a little bit darker color. And then I'm going to put it along the edges of her tail, kind of blend it in with that yellow I just put on there, and up to her bodice, the back of her bodice. I'm just going to go like that. Just kind of go over that yellow a little so it doesn't look quite so yellow. And then I'm just going to go back down here. I'm going to add this and let the color kind of blend itself out. Again, I'm going to start here and let this color blend itself out with the water. And one more color. Now, I find when I'm watercoloring with these distressings, I find the hardest part about this is actually adding color to the bodies, because there is really not a great, I missed a little spot, it'll bug me unless I get it. There's really not a great body color or a Caucasian color for skin in the Tim Holtz line, I don't think. Not a great one anyways. But this Tattered Rose is kind of close. And I'm just going to put this in very, very select areas. The trick to this particular color is it's kind of dark pink. So I want to make sure that I rub it off my brush. Whoop, you see my brush is dirty. That would not be good. So I'm going to squeeze that out until it's clean. You know what, why don't I do this? Why don't I wipe this work surface down so we're not left with any color. Then put the Tattered Rose down. And as you can see, I could probably grab another paper towel, but then I'd have to pause it and grab another paper towel. So I'm just going to grab some Tattered Rose there. I'm going to put some off here so that I'm not dealing with the deepest, darkest color. And I'm just going to go along the bottom of her arms. I'm just going to put a little hint of color here, and it's easier to get away with like on her back than it is along her face. You have to be a lot more detailed on the face. I'm just going to get just around the edges. So she just has a hint of color. There's enough color there to make the skin look like skin, but not so much that it looks dark pink. So if you can see that, she's all finished, and I'm going to kind of fast forward this a little bit by getting her ready to be mounted on the paper, and I will be right back. Okay, so now all I did was I just matted that piece that I showed you before with her little tail just on a piece of black cardstock. And I also stamped the inside and put a white piece on the inside and stamped it, because when you use black, unless you have a silver pen, it is not always easy to write out a black card. But it was simple enough just to finish this card off, and that's how this one looks. Let me show you the other one. Okay, to finish off the second card, the one that we used the flowing drop stencil for, I did the same thing I did an out of the box technique with Rain Girl and Learning to Dance in the Rain as the sentiment. And if you can see the whole thing there, how shimmery that is. And again, just to show you the first one again, these have incredible shimmer on them. So there you go. There's my two cards, and thank you for joining me today. I hope I taught you something new.